And welcome to another DVD video. Today I'm going to give you some tips on how not to play killer. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start off with the don't, what you shouldn't do as killer. One thing you shouldn't do is camp. That is just like hanging around hooks when you've hooked a survivor. Whether it's right up in their face or like just proximity camp. So just walking around the hook, just looking for other survivors. You shouldn't do that, it takes the fun out of it. You don't learn anything from it, and you won't get any better at playing killer if you just camp. Because as you can see, I stood just still, just waiting for someone to come by and waiting for them to down hook for over a minute, just doing nothing, just sitting there. Now, that's no fun to me. I'm sure that won't be fun if you guys did that. I'm sure it's no fun for survivors because I've been camped and it's no fun. No fun at all. It takes all the fun out, you learn nothing, you don't really get any better at the game. So just don't camp and you have a much better time. Now you probably won't get a lot of kills when you don't camp at the very start, but as you get better and play more killer, then you'll get more kills. Because when I first started off playing killer, I might get like 1 or 2 kills, but now I'm getting like 3 or 4 kills each game, which isn't too bad. So yes, don't camp. Don't proximity camp, don't face camp, and don't hit people when they're on the hook. Just walk away, patrol gens, and find other survivors. If they get off, then so be it. You didn't waste time and you probably would have hooked someone else by now, so just don't camp. Second thing not to do as killer is tunnel. Now tunneling is when a survivor just gets off the hook and then you just go after them. You don't try and go for the person that got him off the hook, or if someone's in your way, you don't try and get them. You only try to get the person that just got off hook and that is injured. That's tunneling. Now, you shouldn't do that because it gives that person no fun. Sure, you might get a kill, but you could have gone after another survivor and hooked them to put more pressure on the survivors. Because if you're only going after the one survivor, then other survivors, they can work on gens. Same with camping. They can work on gens, leave that person on the hook for a bit till they're about to get to the second phase on the hook or about to die, then they can go get them. But don't tunnel, because once again, you don't really learn too much. You do learn how to tunnel, which is not a good thing. But yeah, so don't tunnel. And just go after other survivors, because that will come in really handy. Because you don't want to go halfway across the map just to get that one survivor again, no. You want to try and focus on all survivors, because if you just focus on one, then they won't be put under much pressure, because they'll all still be on the first hooks, because you wouldn't have hooked them yet. So you want to be able to hook other survivors so then they get scared, because if they're on the death hook, then they won't stay on gens if they know you're coming. But if they're already hooked, then they might hop off the gen once they hear you coming. So go for the other survivors and don't tunnel. The third thing that you shouldn't do as survivor is slugger. Now what slugging is when you down a survivor, then you go and try and find another survivor and down them. Try and get as many survivors as down as you can, or try and get all survivors down at once. So then they can't even have a chance to do gens or anything. Then you put them on hook and you win. That's no fun. It's hard. As you can see here, I got no kills. Actually, I think I got 1 kill when slugging, and that was just by chance because I had blood water and that's it. Slugging, sure, there's some people that are good slugging, but I don't like it when people slug unless, you know, like the survivors are being really toxic to you and you've done nothing to them. You're not being toxic to them like camping or slugging or tunneling or anything like that. Then I guess if there's like 1 or 2 survivors left, then if they're like next to each other, then yeah, sure, go for the slug. That doesn't really matter too much. Like if both survivors standing at the exit gate and they're both injured, and if one stays on the door while the other one runs off, you can't get the one on the door, then go for the one that runs off. That doesn't matter too much. But just don't like slug everyone down when they're all healthy and that, or else as you can see, you won't really get any kills. So just try not to slug if you can help it. Tip number 4. Don't use conflicting add-ons on your killers. Add-ons are like extra boosters that you can put onto your killer's powers and that. Such as with Huntress, her power is throwing the hatchets. So if you put on an add-on that allows you to see where the survivors are for a few seconds after you hit them with your hatchet. Then if you also put another add-on that makes it so you can one-hit them, called iridescent heads, with your hatchet, then those two don't really go together well, because once you down them, you most likely know where they are, so you don't need to have it where you can see their aura, but a good combination, or a combination that goes well together, is the one that allows you to see the survivor's auras for a few seconds, and also exhaustion, an exhaustion add-on. So you can put those together, and that's fine, because that way you can see where the survivors are. And if the survivors have a perk that makes them exhausted, like Dead Hard or Head On or Spring Burst or anything like that, then they can't use it for a certain amount of time. Then you'll be free to hit them without them dodging or anything. And tip number 5, you don't always have to break pallets when a survivor throws them down. If you can go around the pallet as quickly as you can break it, then it's probably best to just break the pallet unless the looping you're really good. Because as you can see, I can just walk around this one, and with enough patience, it will probably stuff up and you can get a good hit in. But for example, with this other loop, it's much harder to get them with the pallet down, so it's probably your best bet just to break it, get them out of there, and chase after them again. Or else you can be stuck on there for like half the game. So it's a good idea to know when you should break a pallet and when you shouldn't break a pallet. And last but not least, number 6, stream sniping. Now if you don't know what stream sniping is, it's when you try and get an advantage by watching someone else play the game live, like on Twitch or YouTube. If you're watching them if they're in the same game as you, such as DVD, that is called stream sniping, and it can get you in trouble because on Twitch it is against the TOS, so you can actually get your account banned because it makes the game harder for the person that you're playing against, because you'll know where they are, you'll know where to look and what they're doing in that. Now there is a slight delay, but it's still a big advantage. Unless, as you can see, they knew exactly which locker I was in, they knew where I was, which then I just died because they stream snipe, which is not a good thing. It's probably one of the worst things that you can do is stream snipe, and yeah, they're not happy. If someone does stream snipe or anything, you can always report them. As you could see there, you just hover over the name, you go to the right, and it gives you the thumbs up or thumbs down. You click on that, and you can report them. Easy peasy, no worries. But yeah, just don't stream snipe. Takes all the fun about it. It's probably against TOS on whatever site you're streaming on and that. And these are the 4 results from the 4 games that I played. One where I camped, one where I slug, one where I tunneled, and the other one where I just played normally, how I would play any other day of the week and that. As you can see, when I camped, I got 1 kill, and that's because I couldn't get off that survivor that was on the hook to push people off gens to hook other people and that. I was just sitting there waiting for that one survivor to die. And yeah, so don't camp, it'll be horrible for you, and you learn not really anything from it. Now, second one, slugging. I got 0 kills from that. That's because every single time I downed 1 or 2 survivors, the other 2 survivors would just go to that survivor, pick him right back up, and I would be back to square one. I couldn't get everyone down to hook him, so I got no kills. Now with tunneling, as you can see, I got 3 kills, which I mean isn't too bad. Still would not suggest tunneling because it takes all the fun out of it. The survivors get annoyed with you. You don't learn how to push people off gens, how to go after another survivor, how to loop survivors, because once they get off the hook, you're straight back on them, and that's all you know how to do. After a few games, you probably won't be getting much kills, and once they know who you are, then they'll know you're tunneling, and then they will just leave that survivor on the hook for a bit until they know that you're far, far away. As you can see, the 4th game where I played normally, I got 4 kills. That's because I've had plenty of practice with playing killer and that. I'm used to playing killer. I have a main killer that I play, which is just always Death Slinger. So I'm good with him. Also, another suggestion, find a killer that you like. Don't just play killer because other people are playing them and that. If you like a killer, keep on playing them, and you can level up other killers to get the perks in that if you wish, but you still can play that one killer if you want. But yeah, so that's going to be me done for today. So thank you for those who watched the video. Hopefully this would have helped you to decide how to play in that. So yeah, don't tunnel and all that kind of thing. And if you know who's someone who does tunnel or camp or anything like that, feel free to show them these stats. You might not agree with it, but I mean, this is my opinion. You guys can have your opinion on that. And yeah, and if I did forget anything, any toxic behaviors or anything, feel free to tell me down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll be back next week with another video on survivors. So feel free to keep an eye out for that. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, morning, or whatever time it is for you. And Bye!